And so the reason why a lot of us struggle with our faith and we struggle with making these productive, faithful habits is because, well, to be frank, sometimes God moves slowly. And we want what we want, and we want it now, And it's a struggle not to get what you want. And it's a real big struggle not to get what you want when you want it. But God works slowly. There's a lot of people that are struggling in their faith. And most people don't quit faith. They don't quit this path that we're on because they stop believing in God. That's not the reason. Most people quit because they get tired. They just get tired of trying. They get tired of starting over again and again and again. They get tired of this feeling that man, I should be further along by now. But it's one of the most discouraging feelings, looking around and seeing people where you want to be and looking at your own life and just saying, hey, man, I've expended so much energy over so much time and I'm still not there. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And it just sits heavy in our spirits. But somewhere along the line, we got fed this lie about our spiritual walk, that our spiritual growth was supposed to feel dramatic, that it was supposed to feel like we just had these tremendous breakthroughs all the time. And it's not. It's just not. People have convinced us that our maturity in this faith should come quickly. And it doesn't. It doesn't. And so we became results oriented when it came to God. And we started to look at God and just start to give God the side eye and just be like, dude, if you're really working, why isn't it obvious now? If you're really working, if you're really for me, why are these things not happening? And it just gets us pissed off. We get frustrated with God in that place. And we're just tired of doing the work. But here's the beautiful thing. If we open this book and we start to read and we start to actually invest our energy into this place, we're going to find that Scripture tells us that this pace thing that we've been fed, that things are supposed to happen quickly, is complete lies. That we're called to persevere, and we don't like that. And so we tune out that part, because I guarantee you, your pastors preach messages on it, and you've read scriptures about it, and you tune it out because the idea of perseverance isn't convenient for your narrative. But it's what God calls us to do. And the truth is, I made red beans and rice the other day, some plant-based red beans and rice. And I could have made it really, really quick. I could have made it probably in about 30 minutes, and it would have been dang good. But instead of that, we started the beans the night before, and then started all the veggies and the liquids, started that in the morning, and we ate it at nighttime. And it was so incredibly good, because what happens when you slowly cook food like that is that all of the flavors intensify. And guess what happens to our spirit? All of that goodness that God has placed in our lives, all of those great habits, all of those things that we have learned and developed along the way, they intensify and grow into something great, into something that reflects the goodness of God. And that process cannot be rushed. And that's the maturation of our faith. And the truth about it is, it's the repetition that lets us make that progress. It's about doing those repeated actions day in and day out. And those things amass. Not only do they build momentum, but they also give us traction and a leg to stand on. And the brain doesn't respond to intensity. Our brain responds to that repetition. It's not our emotions. It's our consistency in practicing. That we can skip a day and we can fail, but returning to those things, returning to those habits, those prayerful and faithful habits still reinforces our growth. And in that place, when we return to prayer after skipping it, we are starting to reinforce and form these new pathways in our brains. And the brain remembers what we practice. And so does our spirit. And our failure is feedback, right? That when we fail, to say, hey, this thing didn't work. And that's okay. We don't have to look at it as disqualification. We don't have to look at it as this huge negative. We just have to look at it as feedback, that we're not quite there yet. And that's okay. And as we think about faithful spiritual habits, maybe the most faithful one is returning. That even after time away, we might return to prayer. Even after time away from church, that we might return to worship. Even after time away from the word, that we might return to scripture. And there's something to say about that return.